This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you might have missed this morning, and we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 3rd of February 2020, and I am DM.
I am Tuam.
And I am GK. Happy New Month.
Happy New Month.
Everyone.
They say it's a red month, or month of love.
The month of love. No men's conferences to be attended.
Men's conference is a must.
Well, in case you missed the headlines, here they are. In the Standard, the untouchables. Nice and short. In the Daily Nation, there's no stopping me, RUTO declares. And in the Star, regional leaders battle to control BBI campaigns.
Yes.
Shall we start with the untouchables?
Oh, yes.
Why are they untouchable?
And who are they?
This is a clique of gatekeepers. You remember we once did the book Gatekeepers here.
Yeah, by Chris Whipple.
Yes. Now, what the Standard has done, they've gone back in time until the Kenyatta's presidency, Kenyatta's regime, and they have profiled every single person that was a gatekeeper in all the presidencies from the Kenyatta presidency. So from the Kenyatta's, from the Kenyatta's time, you had G.K. Karidi, you had Duncan Degwa, you had Charles Jonjo. In Moi's time, you had Hezekiah Oyugi. You know, in Kibaki's time, you had Francis Mudaura. And now you have the two, Fred Matiang'i, CS Interior, and PS Kibisho.
Yeah.
And I think what the Standard is actually telling us is that William Ruto has a mountain to climb, because this system, guys, have always won wars. They have never lost wars. Yes. That's it.
Yeah, and gatekeepers sort of determine whether a president succeeds or fails. So they're in charge, like Matiang'i right now, and Kibicho are very, taking a charge on his mandate and delivering Big Four.
Oh, yes.
And so they wield tremendous power in that sense.
Oh, yes.
I also thought that the story served to demonstrate to us how William Ruto is not one of the untouchables and is not part of the presidential inside ring.
Oh, man. What he's up against, let me tell you, if I was William Ruto right now, I would go under and I'll stop wearing ties. Just to let that goatee grow. Open, go with a white shirt, just start wearing white shirts. Don't comment on anything, just go under.
Bad idea.
Well, we can park it for now. We have the Daily Nation. There's no stopping me, Ruto declares.
Yes, so this headline is extracted from a speech that Ruto made in Kisii, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Where he said that, in Swahili he said, mimi ndio mtu ya kusaidia Uhuru Kenyatta kufanya kazi. Which is, I'm the one who is tasked to help the president to do his work.
Yeah.
Now what the nation is telling us is, Ruto is saying this just shortly after the president has said, the people that I had entrusted to undertake my tasks for me are hyenas. I don't trust them anymore. So I myself am going to go around the country doing the job myself.
Absolutely.
But DP then is saying, actually, no, I'm still going to help you do
and you know what?
job.
He's right, because the Constitution, Article 147, outlines the roles and the responsibilities of the DP.
Yeah.
And it says that he is the principal assistant of the president. He deputizes for the president in undertaking or in executing the tasks of the president.
Exactly.
But more importantly, the second part of 147 says that the DP shall perform the functions as conferred by the Constitution, making it mandatory. It does not say the DP shall perform the functions if the president still likes him.
Or allows him to.
Or allows him to.
So what you're saying is William Ruto's JD does not come from President Kenyatta.
The president cannot negate it, and if he does, it will be unconstitutional.
I'm glad he came out and said something. Because you know what, you must create value for yourself, and you must create, you have a job to do, and it's clearly in the Constitution, as you pointed out.
Guys, but let's play this forward. William Ruto right now, if no matter what he wants to do, if the system wants to cut him to size, they will cut him to size. And that's why I'm saying it is best. Let him retreat. If he can't retreat, let him retreat.
I don't agree.
Let him retreat.
I think the best move is if you can't beat them, join them, which is what he is doing, at least publicly, at least. Even though we know that is not really the position that he's taking.
Exactly. Well, there we go. We can park it. In the Star, we have regional leaders a battle to control BBI campaigns.
Another essay from
Another essay, yes. So in the Star, the article actually outlines 4 things. One, how Aden Duale,
Yes.
a majority leader,
Yes.
points out that building bridges has been hijacked by the political elite.
Yes.
The second thing is that the rallies are being used less for sensitization of BBI and more just being political platforms.
Yes, for campaigns.
And amplifying the division that currently exists.
Yes.
And then the third thing is that there might be this third tier of government that's being introduced above counties for regional leaders.
Yes.
And this is giving term 2 governors a lease of life.
Yes.
And so that's why they're really jostling to hold these meetings.
Because they can see new jobs for themselves.
They can see for themselves.
Yeah.
And then the fourth thing is that because DP side has been alienated from BBI planning and processes, they then are choosing to do their own separate rallies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The only thing I support about these BBI rallies is that they support the economy of those counties. So if it's in Kitui, a little Kitui, people will have some money. On Saturday, I'm sure they had some money. If it's in Nairobi next week, they...
So you're saying at least the hawkers will sell things?
Yeah, they'll sell some things.
Well, I still question that whether the strategy to antagonize DP and his allies is clever very early on, given that you need them for BBI support and passing, despite the system. You still need some semblance of...
Well, then maybe the establishment is telling us that even without the deputy president, we will get the BBI passed.
Done.
Which is what Raila told us,
Raila said that this...
Since he's the establishment.
Yes.
Nobody is stopping reggae.
He said, and he said this vehicle is moving without brakes.
It's a train without brakes.
And I believe him when he says that. This thing is a done deal. BBI is a done deal. It will be passed whether people like it or not.
Well, we have a 3-part criteria that we use to break down the headlines. We ask ourselves, is it topical or speculative? Is it repetitive or groundbreaking? And lastly, is it thoughtful or just plain lazy?
Yeah.
I think the Daily Nation is quite thoughtful, even though it's a bit deceitful because the deputy president just said, I'll do my job.
Yes.
But they made it look like it's defiant. But would I buy the paper? I would.
Let me tell you, they should have done this. RUTO, : there is no stopping me. That's it. Now they say declares.
You'll soon be offered a job as editor.
Okay, can we toss the staff of giving us an essay?
Yes.
So between the Standard and the Daily Nation.
The Standard for me, the untouchables, looks like a mafia thing. Who would you? What
the
would
thing
you buy?
is, I would say, who are the untouchables? Are they corrupt people? Are they people who have coronavirus? Who are they?
But their pictures are here.
No, but it's not telling us what they are.
I go with the Daily Nation. I think there's something quite interesting and intriguing about Ruto's declaration.
Hi, Raila and Uhuru.
This is a train without brakes.
No stopping us. There you have it. Daily Nation gives us our winning headline. Onto the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country, where we also have a 3-part criteria that we use. We ask ourselves, is it humorous or dry? Is it satirical or pessimistic? And is it effective or just plain lazy?
Oh my God, this is horrid. From Iga. Oh man, Iga. Anyway, it's a drawing of a politician walking next to, those called a revolving door. And there's entry, and then there's one signboard there, create new term, and then there's one finished term. I think it's just saying the politicians with these bags of money, you know, such a boring thing, honestly.
Yeah, and so the context is that Kalonzo had a discussion about removing term limits for
the governors. And he said he won't talk about the presidential term limit, meaning that they will talk about the presidential term limit.
Whoa.
I don't think this cartoon is as horrible as you're painting it out to be. It's a very good depiction of
this like drawing Jack and Jill
of reality.
I think Tuam has never been with Iga's
What you don't like is his style, his
comic,
delivery, but not so much the commentary.
Yeah.
Okay, we can park it for now.
Absolutely. Oh, Gado. And
getting deja vu.
Yes, the depiction of corrupt figures, the fat cat, the faceless person, the vulture and the pig. And what they're saying is, gentlemen, this is a perfect time. Kenyans are too busy 2022 elections. But I feel like I've seen this before.
You saw it on January
the 20th.
2020, in fact, not so long ago.
So they're repeating it so
yes, and on that note, we are tossing it.
Very, very,
so is Gado saying, this cartoon is so true, I want to tell you again.
Again, in case we missed it. Well, now we're on to the star.
Yes, now you've got caricature of Charity Ngilu. And she has, it's caricature of Ngilu, Kalonzo Musyoka, Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, Franz Atwoli dancing to reggae. And in the background you can see Murkomen, can you see him there? And Ngilu is pulling Moses Kuria, seated Moses Kuria by the ears. And the caption there is, "You will not stop reggae."
Yeah, I
So
must.
this is referring to an event in
Yes.
Kitui where Charity Ngilu,
Yeah.
this is on the 1st of February,
Yes.
Yeah.
kicked Moses Kuria out of the event as
Yeah.
Moses Kuria was trying to inch his way towards the dais.
Yeah.
Not only did she say, you can't step on the dais and you can't make any remarks,
Yeah.
we're going to get you ejected out of the event. And he
Yeah.
was ejected and he was roughed up.
Actually,
But then was brought back.
Actually, he was ejected from the dais.
Yeah.
And being courier, I think he said, "Oh, you don't want me to go and sit at the dais? I'll come and sit right in front of you."
Anyway, the crowd said,
"Apewe
"Apewe
Kiti."
Yeah, so she lost that battle.
She lost the battle.
I quite like the caricature of Charity Ngilu herself.
Yeah.
It was very clear who that was.
She looks like Hillary Clinton here, doesn't she?
Not quite. But you can see Uhuru Kenyatta in the back and Raila dancing in the back. And I wonder if that was, we've seen videos of them dancing over the weekend.
Yeah.
The
Who knows?
UB40
Yeah.
concert.
So who knows? Maybe he was.
Nobody can.
Let me
stop
not
reggae.
attribute it.
This is a hilarious cartoon.
Shall we
Yes.
give it our winning cartoon?
I think
guys?
we should.
There you have it. Ozone gives us our winning cartoon for Insta. What is our final thought?
And now our final thought. It is inspired by a book entitled Hidden Figures: The American Dream and the Untold Story of the Black Women Mathematicians Who Helped the Space Race, by Margot Lee Sheatley.
So in this book, Hidden Figures, Sheatley narrates the real-life stories of Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, Mary Jackson, and Kristen Darden. These were 4 African-American women, black women, who worked in NASA as mathematicians. Their stories are very remarkable for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
One is the era in which they take place. So it's between the 1930s and the 1960s. These were decades of deep segregation in America.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
as black people, they were seen and treated as inferior.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there were women operating in an industry or in a corporation that was predominantly male.
Yeah.
Predominantly white
and
male. So
yeah.
they endured a lot of racism and humiliation and made it still in the end.
Yeah.
The second reason why the story is remarkable is because of the impact that their work had.
Right.
So this was so during World War II, these women were at the front line of wartime American science and technology,
Yeah.
including the space race.
Yeah.
These women were mathematicians, and they were so good at what they did that they were called the human computers.
Wow.
Yes.
So they were instrumental in sending John Glenn on his first orbit around the Earth,
Yes.
and Neil Armstrong to walk on the moon on the Apollo mission. So the book is a testament of how invisible faces that make really huge contributions to humankind
Exactly.
don't get recognition because of, in this case,
Yeah.
color
Yes.
and gender.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
It's a very triumphant tale.
It's a beautiful story, especially their perseverance. But my takeaway from this book, guys, was the role of luck, or rather the role luck played in this women's achievement. And Sheatley uses the term serendipity. I always kept on hearing that term, but I never knew what it meant. And she describes it that this is what happens when random chance meets hard work and preparedness. And she gives a story of a lady called Gloria Champagne. In 1974, and she took advantage of an equal opportunity program to ascend in her position. Now, this lady used to serve as a clerk in where she used to work. I think it's NSCA, and she rose to the position of Division Chief of Space Systems, all the way from being a clerk. Wow. But she could not have taken that, that jump if this opportunity, this equal opportunity program was not there.
And if she hadn't been preparing for it somehow.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Right? And she has a beautiful quote that I want to read to our viewers. Allow me to read it. She says that simple luck is a random birthright of the helpless. Serendipity happens when a well-trained mind looking for one thing encounters something else, the unexpected. It comes from being in a position to seize opportunity from the happy marriage of time, place, and chance.
I love that.
Wow. Fantastic.
Beautiful.
It is very inspirational. So It's actually Black History Month.
Yes.
Which is why we picked this book.
Right.
Or during this week we'll be
Yes.
looking at
Yeah.
sort of these figures in American history.
Yeah.
So in chapter 17, she talks about outer space. So why outer space? So in 1958, Eisenhower, who's the president at the time, decides we are taking America out.
To new heights.
Exactly. And it's important for these reasons.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
national defense,
Yeah.
global prestige to be the ones who are doing it, and it's also an opportunity to expand human knowledge.
Correct.
So there's one of the ladies called Catherine. And Catherine and her colleagues at Langley, that was the center in which they were working in, tried to learn as much about space.
Yes.
And they're facing sort of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to contribute to this big thing,
Yes.
taking people to space.
Yeah.
And there's something that was called the Langley Way.
Yeah.
And here, Catherine got a chance to sort of advance her career, but also she would write all these equations. She even wrote a textbook called Space Travel in Real Time.
Right.
And she wished to attend what were called editorial meetings. Now, in these meetings, men were allowed to come, give their ideas. Their ideas would be stress test.
Yes.
People would like look for illogical conclusions
Yeah.
and inconsistencies. And it was basically a way to get better ideas at the end and better reports for NASA.
Yeah.
But Catherine was never allowed to attend these meetings.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a law, it was just a rule of thumb. The
Yes.
men just never thought
Yeah.
the human computers, these
Yes.
ladies,
Yes.
deserved to
Be
be.
on
Could
the
make
other-
any
the
contributions.
table.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is at this time, there were laws as to where Catherine and her lady colleagues who were black could use a bathroom. They
Wow.
couldn't use the same bathroom as their other colleagues.
Yeah.
And what water fountain they could drink in.
Yeah.
So you couldn't just go and
Yes.
get a glass of water. You had to find the one that says colored.
Yes.
Which is
Oh.
probably in another building from where the
Exactly.
editorial meeting
Exactly.
is.
In fact, there's a film about this book, based on this book,
Yeah.
and you can see the distance in which you would have to cross.
Yeah.
You're busy doing important equations,
Yes.
but then you need the bathroom and you have to cross.
By the time you
into
come
a
back,
whole
the
other
meeting is
building.
finished.
Meeting is finished.
Yeah.
So eventually, she petitions her white male counterparts to be a part of these editorial meetings, and eventually, she is allowed
Yes.
into these meetings.
Yes.
And she made such huge contributions to
Yes.
taking people into space.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that they had is called the Langley Way, which was present your case, build it, sell it, so they believe it.
Yes.
So that was the idea. It was a very grueling space in which a woman had to thrive, and she
Yes.
was doing it almost perfectly.
Yes.
And her strategy to cope in the book is she had to balance between being coy with being aggressive.
Yeah.
Because women were meant to be, you wait to be assigned your task from your supervisors. You were not expected to ask questions. Men were engineers and women were computers. So men did the analytical thinking, whereas women did calculations.
Computing.
It was just, for you, it's just very basic.
Yeah.
But Catherine, being ambitious, and I think we could learn from this, it had to strategize a way to advance her career. And her confidence is what drove her to fight for herself to be in these spaces.
Right.
And I think we also need to start fighting to be in spaces where traditionally women or people of our color have not been in.
Yeah.
And so she always questioned things, and she wanted to broaden and deepen her understanding of space travel and different contexts. And she wanted to create a more refined model of space travel for everybody. But also the book puts into context this scientific progress versus social, political advancement.
Yes.
So at a time when you're taking someone all the way to the moon, but yet there's gender inequality and there's segregation.
Racial segregation.
Exactly.
Yes.
And Catherine is so powerful, is a powerful character because she was a black lady behind all these small calculations that was achieving greatness in space travel for America.
So
without her, America would not really have achieved any of
It's
this.
really it's remarkable. See, the book also says that this was an era where there was job stratification. So there was the average job for black people, which is to be a servile job or
cleaning,
something where you use where you use your hands
or you entertain them.
And then there was a mid-level job, a good job, which is where you probably had a barber shop or something like that. And then there was the best jobs where you were a lawyer, probably a junior lawyer or a doctor or that kind of thing. Now these ladies bypassed all those three levels to the epitome of the best jobs, space travel. And not only did they get into the space travel, job area,
Yeah.
they also made contributions that changed the trajectory of their country.
Exactly.
You know,
It's remarkable.
I'll call it, I've coined a term, schizophrenic progression. You are progressing upwards to reach to the moon and explore space.
Yeah.
By the same time, you are segregating society so that some can be able to live better than others.
That's such a good term. It's true. It's schizophrenic.
Schizophrenic
There you go.
progression.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
It's so progressive and so retarded.
Yes, at the same time.
At the same time.
So on a day where you had a winning cartoon from the Star and a winning headline from the Daily Nation, I want to leave you with this. Katherine Johnson knew that once you took the first step,
Yeah.
anything was possible.
Right.
And so the most important battles for dignity, pride, and progress were fought with the simplest of actions. So again, in 2020, move into action.
Fantastic.
So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, but also find us on TV. We're on GoTV, Pan Free to Air, and StarTimes.